Okay. Now, vegans are idiots. And the person they use to represent themselves, I swear, is like maybe a single digit IQ. All right. Oxford Union.
Now, to move not beyond meat, but move on with the debate, I call upon Kara Adams to conclude the side proposition.
I've read the motion and I believe we should move beyond all meat. So what we...
Oh, God. In case you haven't noticed, humans have been eating meat since time immemorial. I mean, there are 30,000-year-old cave paintings showing people hunting. All right, let me hear your reason.
Choose to eat has consequences far beyond the circumference of our plates.
No, they don't. Throughout all recorded history, they never have.
Specifically, your vote tonight expresses your allegiance to or rejection of a white supremacist patriarchal worldview.
Oh, God. What the fuck? Okay, seriously? I don't know if you're aware of this, but the entire human population worldwide eats meat and has been eating meat. Again, throughout all of recorded history. The fuck does that have to do with race?
Do we vote to further inequality and sustain world-destroying violence?
You're talking about genocidal warfare. I would agree with you, but we're talking about dinner.
In the sexual politics of meat, I introduced the concept of animals as absent reference.
Because you're retarded.
In order to be eaten, animals must disappear as living beings.
So do plants. And no, they don't disappear. They get eaten. Okay?
That is, be killed. They then disappear conceptually, as so many forms in which we eat animals' corpses are
no, fucktard. A dead animal body is called a carcass. A dead human body is called a corpse.
By euphemistic language, hamburger, steak, pork, bacon, etc.
Now you're making me hungry.
Even the speaker just before me talked about turkeys. He's talking about dead butchered turkeys of whom part of their bodies will be eaten.
Yeah, and?
Meat eaters order leg of lamb, not a baby lamb's leg.
So fucking what?
The animals cannot possess their own body parts.
And neither do plants. So what's your fucking point? What do you mean they don't possess their own body parts? They're fucking dead. Do you possess your own body parts after you've been embalmed and had all your organs removed and weighed and stuffed back in? No.
Tonight, think about how the language of our debate has or has not participated in the structure of the absent referent. Who disappears and why? 21st century animal eating requires our
Animal eating?
complicity in a new colonialism. We know
what the fuck does eating meat have to do with colonialism?
How settler colonialism worked. And
no, you don't. And you're about to prove it by what you're about to say.
A race and replace system that forced indigenous people off the land.
No, that didn't happen.
Replacing them with cattle and white settlers.
Ooh, yeah, because white man bad. No, that's not what happened, fucktard. 95% of the Native Americans were nomadic, they follow the herds. Okay. And, oh, by the way, they had a mostly meat-based diet. If you're gonna go there. Now the settler's mindset is, somebody owns the land because there are permanent settlements there. Okay. There's the reason why, if you look at the Native American tribes, such as the Pueblo, for example, or the ones in the Pacific Northwest whose names are unpronounceable in English, they were pretty much left alone by the settlers because the settlers realized they owned that land because they built permanent dwellings. Well, why am I giving a quote unquote college professor a history lesson? I'm just an average Joe.
I recognize today as Indigenous Peoples Day.
Columbus Day. Fuck you.
One of the defining aspects of the colonial legacy is an ongoing white supremacist belief system and an ownership paradigm.
No. No. You are full of shit. I don't believe you even believe that shit yourself.
When you own the land, you get the title to it.
Yeah. And it's been like that for hundreds and hundreds of years. It's called civilization.
Entitlement and ownership are linked. All the justifications for the taking of land by white colonial authorities included the claim, well, the Indians can't prove they own the land.
They didn't own the land. Okay, they were nomadic hunters. They followed their herds. Okay. If you look at, say, the Plains Indians, the reason why they built teepees is because they're very easy to take apart and put back together again, because they were constantly on the move. They didn't own any land. They didn't even understand the concept of land ownership.
Hunting exists within this colonial ownership paradigm.
Guess who else hunted? The Native Americans, the indigenous Africans, the Australian Aborigines, everyone.
It presumes that animals don't have title to their own lives.
They don't.
Once dispossessed of their lives, the hunted animal can become your property.
You know what? You know what else is my property? My cat. And I'm not going to hunt her or eat her. So go fuck yourself.
In a minute. Approximately 90% of Native Americans were killed off by erase and replace settler colonialism.
No. That was a massive bloody war that lasted 400 years. Okay. And up to the last 100 years of that, it was pretty much equal the amount of bloodshed. And look, there are atrocities committed on both sides. All right. So you don't know jack shit about history. It's a subject you should avoid.
It's the new colonialism that boasts, I'll hunt for myself and be grateful like the Native Americans. As well, like the Native Americans, I thank the animal for their sacrifice. And I wonder, how do you know the animal would have picked you to feed off their corpse?
Oh God. Seriously? Okay. You could say the same thing about, predators. How's a rabbit? Does a rabbit choose which leopard is going to eat it? It's fucking ludicrous.
The argument that hunting is ethical presumes that some primeval form of eating exists, unmediated by corrupting influences of society. There's no room in the new colonialism for an indigenous worldview to exist.
Jesus Christ. What new colonialism? All right, the colonialism happened hundreds of years ago. And stop pretending to defend the fucking Native American. By the way, I'm half Native American, which is twice as much as you. Okay?
Instead, it collapses more than 100 Native American nations into one amalgam and attributes a static indigenous worldview that erases those nations that were predominantly vegetarian and lived in urban.
No, they were not predominantly vegetarian. They're predominantly carnivorous. Jesus Christ. Where people are primarily vegetarian is in tropical regions, not this high in the northern hemisphere.
Areas. The new colonialists see nothing wrong with a pick and choose approach
There are no new colonialists.
to indigenous thought that never engages with the survival issues indigenous peoples are facing today.
What survival issues are they facing today? Or let me rephrase that, is my father's side of my family tree facing today? What? Seriously? All right. You know that casino money is shared with other tribes, right? You do realize that nobody on fucking Native Americans who are either living on or off the res are starving.
70% of the population would have to be eliminated for people to try to rely on hunting to survive.
Nobody relies on hunting to survive.
Would live and who dies and who decides. As for domesticated animals, Percy Shelley pointed out just after being expelled from Oxford, the quantity of nutritious vegetable matter consumed in fattening the carcass of an ox would afford 10 times the sustenance if gathered immediately from the bosom of the earth. 200 years after Shelley, as we've heard, 1/3 of the land mass of the world is committed to animal agriculture.
And makes you wonder why she got kicked out of Oxford?
Entire ecosystems are disappearing. 80% of deforested acres in the Amazon were cleared for animal-based cattle grazing. And yet tonight at dinner, I saw the lions eaters send meat back from their plates.
Maybe it was undercooked, maybe it was overcooked. They do the same thing if it was vegetables, okay? Can't be, Jesus Christ.
So-called free-range animals contribute more greenhouse gases, while killing them in mobile slaughterhouses.
Greenhouse gases. God, here we fucking go again. We exhale carbon. Plants inhale carbon. The more carbon we have, the better the plants do. Better plants do, the more oxygen we have, etc. All right. Greenhouse gas. You don't know. Are you talking about hydrocarbons? That has nothing to do with raising livestock.
Houses requires more water than industrial slaughterhouses and leaves behind an immense amount of waste, requiring
It's called fertilizer. Okay. It's what you use to feed your crops. Unless you want to use the synthetic shit. And synthetic fertilizers are toxic enough to blow up a building.
intense amount of chemicals in the process. Your meat may be organic, but your slaughtering isn't.
And how would you know that? See, there's a name for it. I forgot. I don't know what it's called. But it's basically a retractable bullet they use to slaughter the cow, and then it's just a matter of dismembering it, which is better now. I mean, the way they used to do it was like chop the head off. Or another thing is talking about slaughtering the animals. Okay, you hang it upside down, you slit its throat. It's in shock. It doesn't feel any pain. And by the time the shock wears off, it's already passed out from exsanguination. Okay. So you have no fucking clue as to what you're talking about.
If you eat animals, you take up more climate space, requiring
No, no.
more water, more land, more forest deforestation, contributing more greenhouse gases.
Again,
This is
not a
felt
problem.
disproportionately by countries in the global south. Their carbon footprint is smaller, but they experience more frequent and intense climate change caused weather events.
No. Climate change is caused by solar activity, not man-made pollution. And certainly it's not caused by our breath.
These events especially affect girls and young women. Your hamburger comes with a dose of misogyny.
No, what affects girls and young women is all the synthetic hormones they pump into the shit. Not to mention all the synthetic all the plant estrogens that they put in the food. Not to mention all the synthetic estrogens in plastics. And I'm a dude with a high school diploma and you're supposed to be a college professor. Okay.
The Western world colonized their space without sending a single beef eater.
So the Queen's Royal Guard, what the hell do they have to do with any of this?
The colonial power, the diet of beef-loving English people became normative.
God, it's been normative for the entire world population for tens of thousands of fucking years.
The food heritage of pre-conquest peoples, like the land itself, was overrun.
Pre-conquest peoples, like Native Americans, who are hunter-gatherers, with an emphasis on the hunter part. Okay.
It was the colonizers, especially the British, who declared that the virility of meat-eating nations explained their success over the supposed feminine and weak rice-eating countries that they defeated.
Yeah. Show me a fucking source. Show me an historical footnote where somebody from the British colonies actually said that.
Historically, the vast majority of the world lived without animal protein as a central part of their diet.
No, actually, that's the reverse.
The assumption that the best protein comes from corpses is a racist belief.
Carcasses, unless you're a cannibal.
As it erases and replaces indigenous African, Asian, Mesoamerican cultural food practices.
Like hunting.
Meat eating is also one of the ways gender-based structures of oppression are perpetuated.
No. No, they're not.
Men in the West are taunted to renew their man card by eating meat because that's what real men do.
No, that's what real humans do.
That's the sexual politics of meat, and it reveals how unsettled masculinity really is.
No, wrong.
Back home, my library card is good for 7 years, but a man card can expire between breakfast and lunch if someone eats a veggie burger.
The fuck are you smoking?
Masculinity, a construct of the gender binary facing constant destabilization.
No, masculinity is a product of testosterone.
Feels always under threat, and eating animals is its protection racket.
Okay, how the fuck do I even respond to that? No?
Question?
That's why after 9/11, that's why after 9/11,
No.
that's why after 9/11, that's why after 9/11, a focus on men as heroes and on meat eating became part of the reclamation of a wounded masculinity.
No, no. Okay. No, not remotely close. And I'm old enough to remember when September 11th happened, but apparently you don't.
When a Black man was elected as US president, we saw how white this wounded masculinity was. White supremacists weaponized it, eating meat, eggs, and dairy.
No, okay, that has nothing to do with race. Okay, god damn, are you fucking stupid?
Images of milk-drinking white men, of platters groaning with meat, and the baiting of liberal men as so-called soy boys are all.
They are. You're fucking idiots. Okay, look, one of the main health issues associated with a plant-based, a plant only based diet is brain atrophy. You're living proof of why nobody should ever be a vegetarian.
Part of the neo-Nazi messaging.
Yeah, they're laughing at you, not with you.
This is their right, the neo-Nazis say. This is their identity. The new colonization rests.
All right. Doing the red jacket. His expression says it all.
On the unstable foundation of white men's insecurities. Look at the way people, men in the animal industry speak of female animals as willing and ready to be made forcibly pregnant, which.
Jesus Christ. You know nothing. You know what animal husbandry is?
Female animals are powerless to resist. There'd be no meat eating without the constant forced reproduction by female animals. Yet,
as opposed to the way a lot of animals do it in nature by raping the females.
Popular culture is flooded with references to sexy cows, sexy pigs, sexy chickens.
Where I have never seen any reference to a sexy cow or a sexy chicken. You're fucking hallucinating.
Sexy fishes who
Nope.
all just want to have fun.
Never seen
They
it.
want to be pregnant and they want to be killed because this feminized sexuality wants to be eaten.
Oh God. Did you just make a porn reference, a lesbian porn reference? Ew.
The only desire animals are credited with possessing is the desire to be consumed.
Nobody has ever said that.
Which strangely can only be expressed after their death. Real life tells a different story.
Oh, I just got to
Animals try
hear.
to escape from slaughterhouses or farms. When able, cows try to reclaim their calves, taken from them so their nursing material can be monetized and sold to humans. They.
Oh, God. People have been milking cows again since time immemorial.
Fight and resist the fate the colonial empire claims is their welcomed destiny.
What
Some
colonial
nations are
empire?
afraid of what they will feel if they look too closely at the degradations that constitute animals' experience. Mention disabling practices or the devastating separation of cows and their babies, and we hear meat eaters exclaim, "Don't tell me." Why are
Yeah, we say, don't tell me because I don't want to hear your fucking bullshit. It's exactly what it is. There's not an iota of truth to anything you have said.
they afraid of the feelings such knowledge produces?
No, I'm not afraid of the feeling that such knowledge produces. I know what, I get the idea. I know what happens in a slaughterhouse. Okay. No, people don't want to hear your bullshit.
They accept a patriarchal construct that views feelings as unruly and untrustworthy, causing pain.
That has nothing to do with gender or a patriarchal construct or nothing. Let's not forget, half the population are female. And like the majority of sane, healthy people, they eat meat too.
chaos. To say you care about animals is considered a sign of weakness in a world still committed to the gender binary.
Since when? Okay. Like, I have a cat. Okay, I don't consider that weakness whatsoever. And I'm sure that I've seen some like really big buff looking gangbanger dudes walking around with their pit bulls. I'm sure they wouldn't take too kindly what you just said. Sicker boy.
That value stereotyped masculine reason over stereotyped feminine feeling and wants order.
Nope.
And yet the reasons we hear are so irrational.
Oh.
If I did not eat animals, they never would be born.
Nobody's ever said that. You pull that out of your ass. Oh God. Can't disgusting mental image on my mind. Ugh.
Eaters like anti-abortionists have forgotten that one quality of non-existence is not having awareness about existence.
Okay. Anti-abortionists. You're bitching and complaining about people killing and eating animals, but somehow you're fine with unborn humans being slaughtered. Where's the fucking logic in that? And no, I did not take a pro-life stance. I just took a logical stance.
Meat eaters say, why, if we put prisoners to work at slaughterhouses in England, they will be learning a skill.
Nobody's ever said that. And no, you would not put prisoners in some places that's designed to that has equipment that's designed to dismember cows. Okay, no, you would never leave prisoners in a fucking slaughterhouse.
I did not know that killing was a skill generalizable to other jobs.
Let me see. The military. Okay. Professional hitmen.
The new colonialist boasts, I only eat meat from locally owned farms, and I know the farmers there love their animals. If killing what one loves is standard practice, I hope they don't start loving me.
Nobody loves you.
What about carrots? What about carrots, were asked, though I've never seen a meat eater leap into the road to save a carrot from being run over by an automobile.
Okay. Because plants have no brains, no feeling. I'm gonna take that back. They have no brains. And no, if you've obviously never been on an interstate before, and you've obviously never seen roadkill, you must have an incredibly isolated, lonely existence.
When all else fails, meat eaters assert that animals are not our equals.
They're not.
One would think such an equality would require us to respond more, not less sympathetically. Meat eaters tell me it's so hard to change, and yet I watch them work even harder not to change.
I have no desire to change. Okay, I certainly don't want to be as stupid as you.
If you all agree that 95% of meat is from factory farmed animals and it's wrong, stop eating it.
No, yeah, I agree. Factory farming should be abolished. But I don't eat factory farm meat. I eat organic meat from the local farmer. So go fuck yourself.
Go to your colleges and eat the vegan option, which every college at this campus offers.
No, don't eat the vegan option. That's worse for the environment if you actually knew what the fuck you're talking about. And you are the result of the vegan option. Okay, because that brain of yours probably atrophied and shriveled up to the size of a walnut.
It's very simple. If you agree with the basic things so that we're not even debating factory farms, then act on it. So is our global outcome to be determined by people afraid to change who are going to hold on to some old conceived notion of power?
First off, it has to do, humans are dedicated omnivores. Okay. Not eating meat is unhealthy. You're proof of that. And it has nothing to do with race, it has nothing to do with gender. And as I said again, all humans of all races have been eating meat throughout all of recorded history.
Change may be hard, but not changing is harder.
No, because I don't have to change. It's very simple. Neither do the other 98% of the population who are fine with eating meat.
Tonight, you're being asked to vote on whether you accept this new colonialism or not.
There is no new colonialism. Where the fuck do you get that from? It doesn't exist.
Our menu choices don't stay on the plate. And I heard all your laughter. I know some of these must be new ideas, or you think they're fringe or whatever.
They are fringe and they are not new.
Our whiteness is part of the problem of meat.
No, race has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Eating. It
No.
really is.
No, it ain't.
Your vote tonight is important, but even more important is the question of what or who will be on your plate in the morning.
Who? Again, one of the dumbest vegan arguments I hear is when they compare meat eating to cannibalism. And geez, that look on her face. Ugh. Ugh.
Sweet dreams.
Well, that was enjoyable. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus Christ. I think I've reached my stupid threshold for the month with that one. Woo! All right. Well, if you need any more proof why you should never become a vegan and why you should continue to eat meat because it's healthy for you, there it is. Living example. All right. Until next time.